Hey everyone, welcome to Baka-Talk, the podcast on the internet that I have no idea what the hell we're doing anymore.
We've got a jam-packed episode today. We're going to be talking about Star Wars later, but first we have anime. We're going to be talking
That's
about
it. That's all I got, bye guys.
Ahsoka. I'm Weez. This is Ramen Cat.
Hi.
It just looks...
That's Boom.
We need to get a camera and just point it at Cat,
Ramen Cat.
because that'd be the best entertainment that anybody would have for an hour.
Yes.
I'd just be staring at the camera.
Yeah, and it's
awkwardly.
great.
It would be very uncomfortable for the viewers too, because
Oh, thanks.
never.
Thanks.
Well, if you're watching like a podcast and it just stayed on one person while other people are talking, it would just
People
be
say
really
they want podcasts to be
uncomfortable.
really intimate.
So,
So
just me with
just
my
you?
usual irritated
Yes.
expression.
They can't. We need like a robot.
It gives people a realistic look on relationships.
We need like a robot that just zooms really close into his face and then zooms out. It just goes back and forth.
And then once every 10 minutes, we'll have it zoom to me or you for a split second, then go back to the
It just
Cat.
spins around.
Yeah.
I just like sneeze or something. The camera just instantly back to me.
Yeah. You pick your nose and just right back to you. Each time you move.
It's kind of like a
now
trick.
you get to watch a zip form on my face in real time.
It just goes into like what is the thing where it speeds up really fast?
Time lapse.
Time lapse. It just like starts time lapsing you.
Shows you growing a beard, growing old,
Shaving it
turn
off.
into a skeleton.
And then just start all over in the morning.
Yep. And that's just it. The next day, it's just you as a 10-year-old.
Yep. That's how all my days go.
Yep. Anyways, so you said we're going to talk about anime.
Yes.
But what are we going to talk about?
Probably not anime at this rate.
Nah.
We've got tons of anime to talk about.
Like, why?
Like Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence.
Sounds like a pedo anime.
I
Next.
hate this anime. It sucks.
Is it a pedo anime?
No.
Oh.
It's like this pastor and this saint like just kind of hang out, and they went to town, and the saint like says hi to kids, and the kids are like, oh hey, it's the saint, and then they like,
Is the saint a woman?
yeah,
And then there's the pope.
it's a
The
pastor.
Pope?
A pastor?
It's a pastor
But you said
specific.
pope.
No, it's not a pope because
Oh.
it's a romance. The description.
Wait, the pope can't have romance?
yeah, the pope can't get married.
The pope can love, I think.
Pope can love, the Pope can't get married. It's the
What is he,
rules.
some freaking Jedi?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
pretty
like
much.
yeah, pretty
The
much.
Pope is a Jedi.
the
What?
Pope is a Jedi. Yeah,
The pope is not a
yeah, he's the only one that has a real lightsaber. Anyways,
What?
the
Moving on.
What?
Catholic
they-
secrets must be buried.
Yeah, we can't talk about the Pope, the Pope crystal that gets passed.
Oh, Christ.
But anyways, so it's like this saint who's I don't know. She could like talk to spirits, and then
I
there's
was gonna say is she like a Warhammer saint and has wings and two huge pistols.
Hey, it was saying Saint Cecilia,
Saint Cecilia.
which is a saint in
And then-
Warhammer.
Is this Cecilia?
Yeah, it's Saint Cecilia. She's the one that dies in this, like,
Just keeps reincarnating.
reincarnating.
Does she have pistols?
No,
Oh.
she is just.
She have
Saint
giant
Cecilia has a
wings?
sword.
I'm thinking a different one.
You are thinking of it.
So then there's the pastor,
I
and
think-
then they kind of like each other, and even the description says, "When will this like frustratingly slow relationship work out or something?" It is just nothing. It is just emptiness, and I hate it. And
You
nothing
only watched
happens.
one episode of this.
I did only watch one episode.
I feel like this
I'm-
is gonna be like it's gonna be like 5 episodes of just peacefulness, and then the demon lord shows up.
Yes.
And it's just gonna be
That-
extreme.
Then Saint
just-
Cecilia pulls out her 2 pistols and goes to
she
battle.
becomes Doomslayer, just like puts on a helmet. It's like the demons have.
I mean, all right. To be fair, think Steins Gate. And
It's
it just
not
kinda-
like
it just
Steins
kind of
Gate.
goes along doing its thing,
No.
and then it's just like
Hey, at least in Steins Gate, they were going towards like a goal from the start.
Yeah.
This sounds like they just went to town.
So this is the same thing as Tiny Senpai, which I talked about a couple weeks ago.
yeah.
Which just literally nothing happens. There's
I
nothing.
don't think Weez likes things that are just there to make you feel happy.
I don't think
It's
he
not
likes
meant-
realistic relationships.
I
It
don't think
is.
so
I don't
either.
like realistic relationships. Why would I want to watch? Like, it's two good people having a decent relationship with each other. Like, who cares? It's so
Good people
boring.
that want a
Considering
decent
the fact those are so rare in this world.
I know, but there's like nothing else. Like if there's anything else going on, it would be fine. Like there's a good relationship and then there's other stuff going on. Like Star Wars Rebels, there's like a family unit and then other things are going on and they have an interesting dynamic. This show,
It's not really a family.
it is
unit.
it is that's what it's meant to
Kind of
be.
is, yeah.
I guess.
That it's Kanan's the father, Hera's the mother. They fill their roles. They even do the parent things. They like talk to their kids and stuff and go on missions.
They even have a dog.
Oh God, it is just a family.
It is.
Ah. Wait, is Zeb the dog?
I think so.
Zeb is the
No,
dog.
Zeb is the older brother that always like.
No,
is
he's
mad
the
at
cranky
younger
uncle
brother.
through and through.
Yeah, he could be that too. In the first season, he's more like an older brother. In this later, he's more like a cranky uncle.
Yeah.
I mean, as us uncles tend to be.
Yeah.
That's a good
But
point.
anyways, we'll talk about that later. This show is just the problem is just nothing happens. Like there's nothing interesting enough to make you want to watch any more of anything. Like even The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses, which is another show that I watched.
I
That
hated.
I didn't hate it. I actually liked it, but the main character is really insufferable, so it's hard to get through. But like there's something that happens. The like plot is that he likes this girl and she shows up without her glasses and she's just completely blind. So it's kind of funny because she's just like shoving her face into the textbook because she can't see it. And so he has to like help her do things throughout the day. It's nothing special, but it's like something happens.
It's
There's
the
a
kind-
little bit of like
It's the
tension.
kind of do nothing that is entertaining.
Yeah, like there's at least a little bit of tension of like he likes her, but he doesn't want to just say that, and she's acting friendly towards him. So what's gonna happen? This show is just like he's standing there and she's just like, I'm bored, and he's just sitting on the ground kicking her feet. And then he's like, oh, you're so lazy. And then she's like, oh, I'll go make food. And then he's like, no, you might hurt yourself.
What?
Yeah.
I'm lost. Where are we? What show are we talking about?
This
Yeah,
is-
Are we still
I'm
talking
just
about
no,
Rebels?
no.
Oh, I don't remember this scene in Rebels.
This is Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
The saint is just like sitting around kicking her
Wait,
feet
why is the saint? Why can't the saint hurt herself?
because he's just overprotective and she's clumsy, and that's the characters.
Character traits.
Yep.
Ah.
See, something like that. Okay, I get what you're saying.
So
because at
the
least
saint has to die in like an episode or two, right? Like that's how it happens.
No.
That's how it
It's
works.
a frustratingly slow
I s-
relationship,
I
as the
see-
description on Crunchyroll says.
I see what you're saying because it's like, okay, the saint can talk to spirits. Why couldn't you do something kind of like a Mushishi thing? I was like, okay, we're gonna just do some relaxing things to help the spirits or something, but you're still doing something.
Yeah, like a story to be a story, you need at least a little bit of tension. It doesn't have to be like world ending. It's just like
Yeah.
what would happen
I
if
lost my toast.
yeah, or like a romance is generally like, will they end up together? Will something happen that'll hurt their relationship or whatever? And it's all based on how much you like the characters. But there's still tension.
You know, from
It's
what
not
I've
just
learned from anime, though,
characters.
usually when it's like, will they be together? Opposition comes along, they just get added in.
Yeah, usually.
They don't get eliminated, they just get
Yeah.
added in.
But
Most
like,
rom-coms are that way.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Yeah.
like
You'll never know who they end up with because the show got canceled.
yeah, basically.
And we knew this was coming from a long ways away.
and that's also what can build tension is they have multiple like, oh, who's she gonna pick kind of thing, which is what like The Bachelor is entirely based off of.
Okay,
A
The
lot
Bachelor
of-
should never be compared to actual relationships.
I know, but like a lot of
ever.
The Bachelor should not be compared to a rom-com.
I mean, a lot of like media, that's like the basis of the tension of like who is gonna get picked to end up with or whatever.
Just saying, if I had to compete with multiple other guys for the attention of my girlfriend, I'm going back to the old Viking ways of my ancestors. Villages will burn.
I guess that's one way to get her attention.
She gets married and then you just like to kill them and take her as a slave, and they're like, there we go, I did it the good old fashioned way.
I didn't mean that old fashioned, dude.
That's one way to do it as well, I guess.
You eliminate the competition before they get married.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if they're dead, then she's a widow and it's okay.
Yeah.
That's my relationship advice for the evening. But anyways, yeah.
You know, it's
The
a
show
really
sucks.
good, relaxing show.
What?
Undead Murder Farce.
That is not a good relaxing.
It's a great relaxing show.
The first episode wasn't very relaxing.
Nothing bad happens.
I bet.
Like, it's great. Like, it's like a comedy show, but without comedy. It's like, okay, what's a good way to put it? You know,
That's
Friends.
called an abstract independent film.
You know,
man.
Friends, right? The old
Kind of
sitcom.
vaguely, yeah.
Maybe some Friends isn't the best one, but it's like an old sitcom where all these characters are interacting with each other,
Yeah.
and there's like a plot going on around them. But like the best part is just like the snide comments between like the characters and stuff. That's kind of how Undead Murder Farce.
That's
Seinfeld?
cool.
Yeah, Seinfeld.
The main character seems really good in Undead
Yeah.
Murder Farce.
Well, I mean, like once you get into the main part, so after the first 3 episodes, it gets into the main thing,
Mm-hmm.
and like they're interacting with characters like Sherlock Holmes and Watson and stuff like that, and it's just really cool.
That's cool.
It's like a historical like sitcom.
Alternate history.
Seinfeld. I mean, there's fighting and stuff, but like the fighting isn't like the main part. Like there's the Oni Slayer, and he
Mhm.
can just like beat anybody up. So
Yeah.
it's like it's not like a big part of it. It's just like, oh, he's just gonna go
That's
fight
cool.
the person. It's like all about like the mystery and like the interaction between characters and like stuff.
So,
like that.
mystery is a good way to go about a show. You're kind of doing stuff, but you don't have to do things.
Yeah.
That's
Because
kind of
it
that's what I was meaning. Like,
Because it can just be laid back and chill.
yeah, that's what it feels like. Like I like
And
watching
then-
it, and the episodes go by quickly because you're like actually invested in like
Yeah.
the mystery and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then when the action happens, it's more like intense.
Yeah,
You'll
like
know
the
it's
action's
still
starting
going
to
to-
happen near the end of the show
Mm-hmm.
because they're getting into the mystery part.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty cool. I don't know. I like it so far.
I like stories that build up action to be important instead of just constantly having it. When it feels like, oh, we need action in this point, so we're gonna throw something random in.
Well, the best part is the characters feel like they actually fit inside the story.
Yeah.
Like they don't feel it. So it's Japanese characters go to England or
Mhm.
London and France and stuff like that, but it doesn't feel like it's that classic stereotype of Japanese people being over the top and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just how people in the 18 and 1700s would act.
Mhm.
So it's like they're
That's cool.
polite, they're like interact with each other, but yeah, it's also got like those weird like comments and like I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah. More subtle.
Yeah, it feels realistic, I guess.
That's
It
cool.
feels more like a was it Bakugan? Not Bakugan. Bakugo? Is that what I'm thinking of?
What?
The show with the Immortals,
The Immortals.
written by the guy that makes Durarara.
Dead Mount Death Play?
No,
The other show.
the other show that we watched.
Oh,
We pirated it.
Bakano.
Bakano. That
It's like Immortals. I forgot Immortals is the main plot. Of the
yeah, that's
show.
why it's like that. It feels
Yeah.
it's more about the characters interacting.
Yeah.
Like there's like monsters and like immortals in Murder Farce, but
Mhm.
like it's not like the huge like plot point
That's
and
cool.
stuff. So
It's just, this is the side of the world we're focusing on.
yeah, kind of.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
An exact opposite of that is Zom 100, which is
Zom
majorly
100 is like
over
chill.
the top.
Your
Ridiculous.
form of chill is not chill.
I mean,
That
I mean,
show
there's-
goes from
they're-
0 to
They're
1,000.
sitting on the roof just playing video games and grilling. I mean,
It's-
that's like...
And then
heavy.
he's bodying a shark
it
like
gives
2 minutes later.
Yeah, but here's the great part. Technically, if he dies or anything, it really doesn't matter.
matters to me.
It matters to me too, but like he's not gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh, this character died, it's the end of the world. It's just, oh well, there's another guy dead.
I also like
Yeah, I
I
guess.
feel like, and it's kind of alluded to throughout the series. We're on episode like 5 now.
Yeah.
That his job sapped him so much that he is like emotionally messed up because
He is
people
mental.
die in front of him, and then he's like he cries about it, and then he just like moves on and never thinks about him.
He is
again.
turned into basically like dead.
And the other guy that's with him is kind of like, you're a little like
Unhinged.
Yeah.
You notice that he kind of keeps his distance away from him.
Like you're a little unhinged because this is
The main character, Akira, is like,
he's great.
he's that type of character where you're like, if you give him a baseball bat, you're not quite sure if he might go kill somebody.
He's kind of the person that is like, nobody in their right mind would run out into a zombie apocalypse because the risk of dying.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't care. So he doesn't care that much about the risk of dying. So he's just going to do what he can to get through it.
Oh.
And so he doesn't panic. So he actually ends up doing fine.
Yeah.
Even though the stuff he does is kind of stupid. It's pretty
I
good.
don't know. I find kind of Akira kind of relatable when I've thought about like, what would I do in a zombie apocalypse? Probably whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
The one episode he's like, I want a TV. So they going to get a TV, and like everything screws up. They end up going in this like underground warehouse thing. They enter in the store and they're like, we can get a TV here. And then there's people there that are like, how the heck did you get in here? We've been holed up for days. And they're just like, we came here to get a TV.
Well, that's why I wonder, it's like the 5th episode, not to be too much of a spoiler. I mean, there's already going to be another episode out.
Next Sunday. So by the time this is released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people would have watched episode 6 already. Like, they just drove on a motorcycle to the aquarium.
Heck yeah.
And the people on the bus were getting eaten left and right by zombies.
Yeah.
It's like, how? Like, do the
Ooh,
zombies just not care about them? or
Okay,
something?
I gotta ask this though. If you literally have no restraints other than getting resources as you go along, like getting gas for your vehicle or whatever,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you go where you want
No, I
to?
mean, like, that's fine, but it's just like insane on how much freedom they have. Like, it's
Yeah.
something different than what most zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, usually it's,
Yeah.
oh, we gotta survive. These guys are like, let's party.
Most of the time, a zombie apocalypse road trip is like Z Nation, where they're traveling through the countryside or traveling through Canada or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing. So you'll see like 5 zombies like every mile or something like
yeah.
that. Where they're in Tokyo.
See,
These-
that's one thing. Off topic bit, but with the thing like you're saying about that. I always kind of found it weird how there was like in shows like there's zombies just absolutely everywhere. It's like, I feel like there'd be more people in the countryside because they'd kill off the zombies as they wandered out. Like, I feel like cities would be the dangerous zone.
Well, and that's how most zombie apocalypses are supposed to be. The cities
Yeah.
are the danger zones. In the countryside, yeah, you'll have like a town we live in, right?
yeah,
Like, more than likely, if it's like
it would probably get purged at some point.
Probably, yeah. And I mean, they did mention in episode 5 of Zom 100 that like the military is like making safe zones.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff.
just abandoned the city.
Yeah,
and
they
went,
just abandoned the city. So
and went to the hills.
Mhm.
The zombies feel kind of like animals in a way. They're like persistent, but they're not super persistent.
yeah, they
So
give
it's
up.
like, yeah, if you like hide away long enough, they'll just kind of leave. But everyone's too scared to like get out of the situation because what if there is a zombie
Yeah.
still around? So it's kind of interesting because if you think about if you were like in a car surrounded by bears and then the bears left, you'd probably be a little freaked out to like get out of your car right away. And so it's kind of like that situation, except they just don't care about dying. So they're like, hey, we'll just run to the store and
Yeah,
do
true.
whatever. And it's also interesting because it parallels the main girl that has a thing that's like 100 ways not to be killed by zombies.
Yeah, he
and
has
their
100
thing is
ways
like,
of before he comes.
yeah,
a zombie.
100 things he wants to do before he becomes a zombie. Like
That is cool that
Uh,
they have that parallel.
yeah.
And I like that they're finally first of all, we finally figured out if his best friend was like the guy in the opening,
mhm.
because with his hair dyed, at least me and Robbie
Yeah.
Cat were having this debate like, is it the same guy or is he gonna die or
that
something?
he was gonna die.
Because he looks different with his blonde hair.
Yeah.
So it's cool that we got to see that. But so we have Analysis Girl, we have Comedian Guy, and then we have the main character. Now we just need Samurai Chick.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing she's going to show up in the next episode because it's called RV of the Dead.
Probably.
So they get
yeah.
the RV from the opening as well.
Probably go somewhere else, and she's probably in like a different area.
Probably. So that's going to be cool. I'm excited
Yeah.
I'm hoping they just do like a zombie road trip slice of life type show
That'd be
where they go
cool.
do fun things in the
Yeah.
zombie apocalypse. I just hope it doesn't go to the fact where they like Japan like fights off the zombies and like at the end he has to go back to work or something.
Oh, that would be
crap like
horrible.
that.
That would be
that
horrible.
would be hilarious.
That would be horrible and so disheartening.
I feel like it's the kind of show that's gonna. I don't know if they'll
It's
go
probably
this
just
way.
gonna end. They'll probably get to somewhere and like, well, this is good.
Right.
I feel like they might do the thing where it's like the goofball lunatic somehow finds the cure and has to like save the zombie.
I mean, that would make
It
him
could
the
be,
ultimate
yeah.
superhero.
It's also like it's part of him being a superhero. It's also part of like earlier in the thing he's like, maybe you'll be the one to save us all from this, and he's like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So like little things like
maybe it'll
that.
be like if they meet up with the military, like, yeah, we know how to cure this, but the cure is in
Yeah.
area
Like,
and we can't get to it.
It's
He'll be like,
probably
I'll
not
do it.
entirely gonna be him, but he'll be like part of what saves the world or something.
They
Like,
could
I
just do
could
the
see
classic
that.
thing and just say it's like his blood.
That would-
It's like every zombie apocalypse. They're like you random
So-
person.
So you could just be like, you to say, I could have just gotten bit and got to where I needed to go.
Yeah, basically.
yeah,
Although I love the part like, I have armor. Ah!
Yeah.
that was amazing.
I was
Still
waiting for that.
hurts.
I'm glad they added that because I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, yeah, it won't puncture it, but it's gonna hurt when somebody's like clamping down on your arm with a mouth.
And then his friend is like, "Yeah, I don't got armor, so good luck." Closes the door.
That was great.
Yeah, it's a wild, really wacky like vibe
It's
to
wacky
it.
without going overboard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like realistic enough, but the characters are just so insane. And also the whole setting is very realistic. Like all the people are like depressed and freaking out and like, I don't want to die. And it's like horror movie zombie kind of things.
Right.
And then there's our main character that's just like, sweet, I get to go pillage a TV.
It basically is reminiscent of Zombieland. I
Yeah.
don't know if either of you has ever seen that movie, but it's literally just at first they have like a goal, but it basically just turns into zombie road trip. Let's just do what we want. The climax is literally killing a zombie clown at a carnival. So what? So the main character could ask the girl out or something on the Ferris wheel. Because that's where they got stuck.
Basically they got stuck there. I
In Tallahassee, who's
Yeah.
Woody
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. His whole quest is find a Twinkie. He just has a Twinkie addiction. He's like, there's no Twinkies left in the world.
Yeah.
And then he kills like a zombie and he just pumps buckshot into Twinkies behind the door by accident.
He gets super sad. It's
That's
great.
funny.
We're
Yeah.
we're gonna have to watch it.
This gives vibes of like a person that really loved zombie shows but got sick of like everything being super depressing and also didn't want to just make like a comedy.
Yeah.
So he ended up like mashing it with like this ridiculous character and then the like depressing zombie setting.
I like the fact that they are focusing on the fact that there's zombies.
Yeah.
And that the zombies are the main obstacle. I like the
Yeah.
fact that it's not just human beings being
That is cool,
a-holes to each other. So it's like how every other, at least live action ones from America,
Yeah.
they're all Walking Dead. It's not zombies. It's other people being bad people.
Yeah.
Like, or
The Last of Us I know is kind of
Last
like
of
that.
Us is like
Yeah,
that.
even though the zombies are freaking terrifying.
Yeah, it's like the
that.
zombies and then it's more about the humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Attack on Titan basically had a zombie concept and
Yep.
then changed it more to humans. So it is cool just seeing straight up just zombies.
I also am appreciating these are actually hand-drawn zombies, not
Oh,
weird
yeah.
CGI or shadowy zombies.
That is
The
sick.
visuals are incrable. It's
Of course, this
really
is
good.
Mappa, isn't it?
No,
Helping with
No.
this, or-
it's
no?
some weird no name.
What is it
studio.
called? It's
but it had a weird name.
I'll look it
It
up
was.
while you guys
I think it
talk.
was like a group of people from another studio went and made this studio. I don't remember what they made before, but it was another like bigger project.
I did see a funny short on YouTube. It was from an anime creator, and it's got one guy in front of a large TV, and he's just watching Zom 100. He's like, "This is my hero. This is great." And it's just like on the title, it's just like Mappa employee, and then a guy in a suit walks in. It's just Mappa executive. It's like, "I pay you to make anime, not watch anime." Just drags it away. He's like, "Please let there be a zombie apocalypse." I was like, oh god, what is Mappa doing?
Oh, I saw a video. It was like a joke. The studio that animated this used the people. I saw it on like a short. Used to work at this other building, and they modeled the office building that he worked at as the studio he used to work at.
Oh,
It's like the circular like skyscraper and then the square one, and it showed like the picture back to back. It's not like a vague reference.
Uh-huh.
It's like a copy.
That's
Oh,
funny.
It's
Jeez.
really funny.
The studio is Bug Films.
Yeah, Bug Films.
Well, I hope after this, Bug Films keeps making shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great. I
I
wonder
know,
what else
more
they
They're
shows like
doing
this
a
would be
really good
sick.
job.
I know it looks so good, and it's really
Yeah,
interesting.
for some reason, I was thinking that this was another Mappa show.
So there was.
Holy
It
mackerel.
looks like
Bug Films, they've only made Zom 100.
Yeah, I think
Huh.
they're a brand new studio.
That is sick.
And I think it was people from some other big studio or something all left and made their own. So maybe it'll be like less
So
of a
you're
grindy.
telling-
Established in 2021.
That's
So
They're
you-
not even oh wow, they're not even a full year old.
that's really cool.
So
That's
you're
cool.
telling me then that it's a bunch of animators like, we're gonna go out on our own, and we're gonna make our own show, and the big company's like, yeah, whatever. Zom 100 comes out. Holy crap, they did it!
I hope this gets really big because it's really cool.
So far,
Not
everybody's
too big
liked
because
it.
when the studio gets too big,
Yeah, you don't want the executive people to take it over again, but having, I don't know, it could be like
have a good base.
Yeah, it could be more of like a company that's trying to not
Well,
work them to death and just make a good product.
Here's my anime list stats for it. So, 208,000
It's pretty
are
good.
watching. Only 93,000 only 2,000 have dropped it.
Yeah.
It's rated at an 8 at 17,000, 9 at a 14,000, and a 10 at 8,000, and all the other like below 7
Yeah.
is like less than 1,000.
Hmm.
So people
That's
like
cool.
it.
Great
yeah,
show.
It is a really good show. Another studio that's coming out with anime is both The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses and The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today is both the same studio. And I don't know what they have this thing of tracking like 2D objects in a 3D space. And they use it like crazy. And it's like their thing. And it's really, sometimes it looks cool. Other times it's really bizarre looking. But The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses, they did it in the first episode. They just had the main character walking and they kind of like followed him around with the camera through the classrooms and stuff. It was like one continuous scene. It was-
Kind of like the Raimi director type thing.
yeah.
You know,
It
in
was-
like Evil Dead, where they just like follow the characters with like a floating
Oh
camera.
yeah.
Which is, I like long continuous shots. It's kind of cool. I don't care as much in anime because it's just animated, but
Yeah.
like
Oh, I just heard the shrieking of about 500,000 weaves as they pulled out their plastic lightsaber.
It
I
sounds
mean,
like a zombie apocalypse.
it's
and start
like-
just-
it's like everything is drawn anyway. So if you like
yeah, it doesn't,
change
it
a
doesn't have that
scene-
impact as like a live
in-
action thing. It was like, whoa, how did
Yeah.
that
I don't know.
That?
Like,
Personally,
in-
I like it when they go out of their way to mimic actual filmography in animation.
it is cool too,
because
but
it takes a whole different like artistic style
Yeah.
to replicate that.
and it is cool, and they did that especially with like Chainsaw Man and stuff,
Yeah.
and it looks cool. But like, I don't care as much. It's more cool in live action when they have like an 8-minute scene because you know they can't pause and cut and take the best take and edit it together. This is like a stage play where they all had to be perfect on the one take.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. But anyways, the animation, it looked kind of cool because one of the main things is in anime is that the camera can't really move because it's 2D, so it's hard
Yeah.
for it to like, you can't track. It's ridiculously hard. So that they did that, and that's like I don't know if it's some technique or technology that they have that allows them to do it easier, but they put it on full display. And so they did the opposite of Zom 100, where the Zom 100 like animation builds into the story.
Yeah.
The first episode was really cool because it went like dark and it started getting darker as he was like part of the company, and then it's all like gray and fuzzy for a while, and you kind of don't even notice it because it just kind of builds into that. And then once it like explodes into full color when he's like, I don't have to go to work anymore. It's like you didn't even notice how dark it was before it exploded, and it gets like crazy and it looks awesome. And it was like telling the story of his emotions. This, they just like went, we can do wacky things with the camera. Wee!
Camera go burr.
So the
Jeffrey, get off the camera.
episode of The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again today. The first 4 minutes, there is no dialogue. Nothing happens. It is just, look at our cool animation as they just show city streets.
So basically what they did in Demon Slayer season 3, where they're in the infinite house and it's just 2 minutes of flying through the infinite house.
Kind of. But even worse than that, because that at least was like, it was telling you at least a little bit about the infinite house is infinite. Look at how crazy.
We already knew the infinite house was
I know,
infinite.
but it
That's
was
the end of season 1.
It was at least showing like something. It was overboard and too long. But this was 4 minutes. And that was like a minute and a half or 2 minutes or something.
It was like 2
And
minutes.
4 minutes is noticeably different, especially when it's just, here is a city street. Here is a train. Here's a bunch of people walking into the train. And
you wouldn't
So,
be able to take 70s and 60s movies because there's a lot of that.
Or
Okay.
70s and 60s, or not.
At
like
least they
90s anime.
they usually will show the main character at least.
Yeah, just kind of going through their
Sometimes.
paces.
Like, this is not showing the main character going through their day. They kind of vaguely do. They like, you see someone kind of wake up and then they like go outside or something, and then it just shows the street.
So why is the cat depressed again today?
The cat's not even depressed.
What?
Cat's just there, just chilling.
I was yawning. Did I hear that? What?
The cat's not depressed, at least not in the first episode. The cat's just kind of chilling, makes her food, and is like, no more beer for you if you've had too much beer. And she's like, but I want more.
I would be terrified, and I'd realize
So maybe
I was
the cat's depressed because it has to take care of a human.
I guess.
But
You
the
know,
human should be taking care
I
of
don't know.
it.
One or two things would happen if my cat was like, no more beer for you. I'd either be like, I am really drunk right now, or I need another beer. The cat's talking.
There's a point.
Drown out the fact that the cat's talking.
So it's like she goes to work, she goes back home, the cat's there and like takes care of her and gets her food and stuff.
Why is the cat there? Why is the cat huge?
And that's kind of the mystery. She is just like chill with it. And then she goes to work and is like, wait, I can't tell people about my cat. That's not normal.
Is it supposed to be like a Baka-Neko or whatever they are? That's like a cat spirit.
No, I don't know.
Well, here's
maybe.
the thing. I saw a trailer and I saw clips of it. When the cat was young, it was a normal cat.
Yes.
And now it's not a normal cat.
She saved the cat from the cold, and it was like a normal cat, and she took it in and took care of it.
Yeah.
Now it is this freaking abomination that lives with her and cooks for her and is just
You're telling me for somebody to take care of me, I just need to go pick up a stray?
and hope
It's that easy?
and
hope
hope
it's
it grows
magical.
into this giant.
We could
freaking
make it
monster.
magical. We could just like pour pixie dust on it, right?
So the show was
That's how that works, right?
Turns into a dragon.
the show was fine.
Good enough. We got halfway there.
The show was fine, but the first like 4 minutes, which is a ridiculous amount of time, when you're watching it, it's like, especially because it's not like you see something happen and then it goes into this. It's just like, look, there's a train.
I don't think you understand
People
true art.
walking. It's not true art.
I
It's
think
not a story.
You're just not artistic
It's
enough
art.
to understand that the fact that they animated this for you. They showed you 10 or 4 minutes of true art. None of this cringy anime
Actually,
dialogue
It was
or anything
close
like
to
that.
5 minutes. Like, I think 4 minutes was the first line that was spoken.
Ah.
And it was just really, really bizarre. I was watching it for a while and I was like, the frick is going on?
You've tuned into the lo-fi movie.
I know.
Welcome to NPR.
Like, it would be
news.
fine as like a random background thing of just like people walking through the city, people walking into the train, whatever. And then
A
it's
little bit
like,
of relaxing music.
I thought this was a story, not just like a
You're getting
lo-fi.
tricked. It was a slideshow.
See, now that can be said for something is you can have a lot of nothing
Yeah.
and have it be a story. Kind of like Durara, the first episode of it, or the first book of it. There's a lot of just nothing really, except for the city is telling the story.
Yeah. And
I beg to differ with Dorara because there was a crap ton.
Well, it
that happened in the
doesn't
first
make
episode.
sense. It feels like it's
For-
nothing
for
at
the main
first.
character though, nothing really happened. He just like walked through the city.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like Dorara is
I guess that's kind of a
the
bad
character
example
is
of it,
the
but-
city.
Well, even like, I
But
don't
the
know,
character
like,
you follow, nothing. He
like
doesn't do
Tokyo
anything.
Godfather.
I don't care about the character. I don't even remember the
Tokyo
character's
Godfathers is a good.
Yeah, because there's a lot
Tokyo
of, there's a
Godfather's
lot of
good
in
one.
between of
Yeah.
them not doing anything, and the city is just kind of doing its thing, and you're
Yeah.
seeing you're kind of seeing the situations that led to why they're in
Yeah.
the state that they're
Mhm.
in, and just kind of how crappy the
Like
city.
it's still
is.
telling something, and it doesn't have to be like action 24/7 to be like.
I don't know. An
important.
ambulance
I don't
just
know.
plowed into the store, so
It
That's
sounds
true.
like what Weez is describing is like the scenes in Evangelion when it's just trains
Kinda.
and stuff going around and around. And
Yeah.
around.
It's almost worse than that because that was actually like there was an idea there. I don't think it was executed well, but the idea, there was some idea there.
There was
Like,
something behind
was
the train.
I don't
something.
know. With Evangelion, I was expecting it's like, okay, it's gonna build the attention, and some grotesque thing is gonna drop from space,
Yeah.
and he's gonna realize I gotta get in the machine.
Yeah.
or it's like a silent moment with the characters to like,
Right.
you know, because they're depressed or whatever, and to just be with them in a moment.
But the masterful cat is
the
depressed
masterful
today.
cat, nothing happened. You didn't even see the cat. There was nothing there to be in the moment. It was just like, hey, look, we
It
put
was
up a
it was
camera.
a zoomed out cityscape, right?
It was like, here's a shot of the city of people walking down the street. Here's a shot of the train and people getting.
Did
on
you
the
look
train.
very closely? Maybe the cat was there.
The cat wasn't there. The cat was
You
at
sure?
home. It was the lady.
Did you
going to
pause
work.
it? Did you find Waldo?
It was the lady going to work because she woke up and you
Oh.
kind of see her go to work, but like
Then
it
you're
doesn't-
watching her go to work.
It wasn't her going to work. It was random shots of like traffic cones.
And you know what else?
Maybe the cat was under the traffic cone.
You know what else isn't art? It's not just the 4 minutes of nothing. It's the 4 minutes of us not talking about Star Wars now.
What?
What?
What? That's the worst transition ever. We used to, on Look Behind You, we used to talk about an escalator going off a cliff. That was like an escalator.
segue.
Or segue, sorry. A segue going off a cliff. That right there was a segue traveling down the road like normal, and the Death Star laser just hitting it with a brick.
That was
Right.
Ramen Cat on a Segway, like careening towards us, jumps off the Segway. The Segway falls off a cliff and is like, hey guys, Star
I'm just
Wars.
going along segue. I have no
He's
idea.
just
how
the
to
messenger
drive
from
this.
Skyrim, just running through the ocean like, hey, I got a message for you.
I couldn't find a good enough opening. The punch wasn't
You-
there.
You didn't have to find the opening. You just took an axe and just like the shining it right through the door.
Here's Johnny.
Johnny.
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
See Ahsoka. You see, what happened is the original Ahsoka dies in
Boom.
Clone
You want me
Wars.
to get the taser?
I have no
Now
proof
just use
for
that
this.
axe of yours.
I
Okay.
have no proof for this. I've been annoying my girlfriend with this because I'm like, no, Ahsoka dies and it's her clone.
I
So-
hope. Actually, I would be happy if that, because that means the Ahsoka I like is dead,
See,
and there's no
Ahsoka-
more character development.
Ahsoka in Clone Wars dies at some point when she in the new season of Clone Wars, the final season, she crashes her speeder. She dies then.
Yes.
Okay, those girls that were sisters, they weren't sisters. They were clones of each other, and so they recloned Ahsoka to help them smuggle things. So that's B-Ahsoka. B-Ahsoka.
So a
goes-
B Ahsoka just bodies Darth Maul. Then?
No, that was still Ahsoka. I don't know. There was some weird time dilation thing because of the
Wait,
world.
So when the ship crashed in the final episode on that planet,
Yeah.
Ahsoka and B
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka fought,
They
and B Ahsoka won.
Yes, that's perfect.
And now she's just buried
And
with all the
then
stormtroopers.
B-Ahsoka went through Clone Wars and went through her arc in Clone Wars.
You mean Rebels?
I mean Rebels. B-Ahsoka was in Rebels, so that's why she looks different. Then she dies, and then C-Ahsoka shows up. We don't
Wait,
know much
whoa,
about
whoa.
C-Ahsoka, but C-Ahsoka shows up in live action
Right.
in Mando, which is totally different time area than
You know, in Rebels, Ahsoka just looked older, which is fine because she looked more like
Yeah.
a Shock T, which is just an older Twi'lek.
Yeah.
Basically. That was great and all. Although she's not Twi'lek, is she?
She's
Targaruda,
Torgruda. Targaruda.
which is basically a. Yeah,
Another
I don't
version.
know. I'm
yeah,
not gonna go down that route today. I'm too tired. But yeah, anyways,
live action does screw with the character designs a little.
the
bit.
most important question for character design is how do you feel about Grand Moff Elon Musk?
Oh, gee.
So,
I
Thrawn-
regret finding that
So,
discovery.
Thrawn is actually cool because I know the voice actor is the same as the live action
Yeah,
actor,
but
which is
put-
really
alright.
cool.
But when you put Thrawn next to a picture of Elon Musk, it's just blue Elon Musk.
It is very close to Blue Elon.
Yeah,
Musk.
for people that are listening along right now,
Pull up a photo of Elon Musk with his weird upside down smile, and then pull up Thrawn.
Thrawn from
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, the trailer, it's crazy how much they look alike.
So one of the things that's kind of funny about Thrawn is that I heard this on like a podcast. They were talking about it. They wanted
Podcasts aren't good for you. You should know that.
they
Yeah,
wanted
don't listen to
they
podcasts.
What the
wanted
heck's wrong with you?
they wanted Thrawn to be like similar to human, but also be slightly off. Like he's not.
So they chose Elon Musk.
He's
In
not.
Star Wars.
He's not.
He's supposed to be a human, but better.
Because he's not. They didn't just want blue human. They wanted he's an alien with blue skin that's similar to a human. That's why they gave him really like defined cheekbones and like his like above his forehead is like weird.
But
like
in
Elon Musk.
Star Wars,
Like the actor that plays Thrawn, who also has really sharp cheekbones.
He's probably sitting there like, I feel targeted.
They're like, we want to make this guy look like a freak, so we're gonna model it after this guy's face.
that's weird that they wanted to make him look more alien.
Yeah.
He's literally just a blue human.
Yeah, they wanted him to be slightly different than just a blue human.
But his species was blue human.
Well, they just it's not that
I don't know
much
what
that they
his
changed,
species
just-
is. But
He's a chiss.
He's a chiss, which is from the unknown region,
Unknown.
basically outside of the galaxy of Star Wars.
Outside.
At least it was in
It still is.
Legends.
Yeah, it
so
still
it's
is.
outside of the Star Wars
The
galaxy.
chiss are very similar in both. So there's the outer rim, which is like the charted.
Yeah, and then there's the unknown.
then the
region.
unknown regions is like uncharted.
Yeah, but
territory.
when-
But
Nobody
then there's
goes there.
out of the galaxy, which is past that.
Nobody goes out that far because
Nobody goes out that far besides where there's Chiss.
There's no hyperspace. rigs.
In Legends, the Empire went out there. And then the Jensen Vong came.
Yeah, I thought the Anson Vaughn came from beyond that.
Yeah, they came from another galaxy.
Yeah.
They didn't just come from like the little area outside of the Star Wars galaxy. They came from another galaxy.
But like Chiss are from just the little area outside the galaxy.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
still
not
part
like
of
it,
the
they
Star
can, you can
Wars.
travel there within a reasonable time. Where like the Jensen Vong had to travel for like I think millennia because they like the ships. So
You know why? You know why? You know
Yeah.
what they're fleeing?
the fact that they destroyed a galaxy.
No, I was gonna lead into something else, but I won't.
I thought you
Oh,
were gonna say
Warhammer?
Yeah. Okay. In the comics, the robots that they're talking about that ran them out look a lot like Necron. Okay, just saying.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Probably what happened.
And
Anyway,
the Necron are ultra ancient.
for Ahsoka, I like the idea that there's Dark Jedi.
Yeah.
But where are they
Ahsoka
gonna
looks
fall
pretty
in the story? Boom. He told me not to say it. I'm reading from the script.
Okay, this is set after.
Remind me never to give Rob a kind of script.
This is set after Return of the Jedi.
Okay, but in all seriousness, why is there Fallen Jedi? Because
There's always
There's
been
always
fallen
been Fallen Jedi.
I know there's always been Fallen Jedi, but they used to just be Sith.
No.
No.
Okay, from the stuff I've watched and seen,
See,
There's always been Fallen Jedi where they're not,
there's Gray Jedi.
they don't succumb to the dark side, but they're not gray Jedi, which are focused on balance, and they're not Jedi that are focused on non-emotion.
Okay, I need a quick rundown. We have Jedi, we have Sith, we have Gray Jedi.
Yep. So let's do this.
Wasn't
way.
there also Sentinels or
On-
whatever they are that were supposed to be absolute neutral too?
No, they're implements of justice. So let's do it this way. There's Jedi on the left. There's Sith on the right.
Okay.
Gray Jedi are in the middle. They're balanced.
I think Grey Jedi are kind of stupid.
Shut up.
George
There's
Lucas
dark-
didn't like Grey Jedi,
Shut up.
and they don't exist in canon technically.
Yes.
Yeah,
But the idea
Technically, at that point, if you don't adhere to dark side or light side, aren't you just a force
it's
user?
kind of a technicality.
Anyways, then there's Dark Jedi, which were Jedi. They were Jedi. They trained in the Jedi ways. But then they left that ideal, the ideal of non-emotion, but they're not all the way into hatred.
Yeah.
So they're just a wussy Sith.
So you can
Yes,
you can be on the light
basically.
side and not
So
be a Jedi.
what is Anakin?
So you can be on the light side.
Anakin is a Sith.
But he's a Jedi that gave into his emo emotions.
No, he's a Sith.
He was a Jedi. He became
The
a
the dark side of the Force physically and mentally altered him,
So there's
which is how you become a full Sith.
so there's the light side and the dark side. The light side doesn't mean you're a Jedi, and dark side doesn't mean you're a Sith. Like Ahsoka uses light side of the Force, but she's not a Jedi.
She's technically a
Jedi-
gray Jedi.
She's technically not a Grey Jedi because Grey Jedi don't exist in new canon.
She was a gray Jedi at one point.
But the idea of that kind of thing is like she's
Okay, I have one final question. And even though I hate the last movie, then what was with the orange lightsaber
The
what
last-
orange lightsaber.
in
in
the
the
last
last
movie?
movie?
There wasn't
The
an orange
yellow
light-
lightsaber?
Yeah, yellow lightsaber.
That's just a type
Yellow.
of force crystal used by
Oh.
the Sentinels.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
The Sentinels are just a rank of Jedi.
Oh,
So in new canon, you take a lightsaber crystal, you bond with it, and then it like imbues yourself into the crystal in a way. So it like bonds with you, and then that's why it gets its color.
I thought you just mined the crystal. I'm like, this good.
Oh, that used to be how it was.
That used to be how it was because of
This
video
one's red
games.
because I'm evil.
No, actually, they used to be red because they're synthetic.
now
A Sith could not bond with a kyber crystal.
Oh.
They used to have to make synthetic ones.
now they steal a Jedi's crystal and they bleed it, which is kind of a cool idea.
Which is also weird why they can't just go get their own crystal.
I think they can and then bleed it,
Yeah.
but they usually just steal Jedi because
There is this cool scene in the Vader comics. I need to read the new Vader comics because they do look cool.
Yeah,
But there's a scene where he's like getting his red lightsaber and he's like bleeding the crystal and stuff. And while he's bleeding it, like the Force is like giving him visions and stuff of like what it would have been like if he like didn't become a Sith. So like it's giving him visions of Padme with his children and stuff like that. So like it's actually I like how they do the lightsabers now in canon compared to Legends. Legends it always felt a little weird because it's like sometimes they're mystical things.
yeah.
Other times it was literally just a laser sword that you just
Yeah.
beat people
So you
with.
could be a Jedi. I'm like, I want a red lightsaber. Why do you have a red one? Because it looks cool.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, there
pretty
was
much.
Jedi with red lightsabers. That was the weird part in Legends, I guess.
And then
Especially if you
yeah.
read comics from the 90s when they're like, we don't know how to print this any other
There's
color.
also
Yeah.
there's a Clone Wars episode where they go to find their crystals and the specific crystal calls to you. So
Right.
it's more of a mystical thing now. But you can also just like steal a Jedi's lightsaber crystal and sell it on the black market.
Yeah.
You can
And
also
regular people can use a lightsaber, but since they don't have a force connection, it won't. They
It's
can't
usually
wield
hard.
it properly. Because a lightsaber is going to be unnaturally heavy to anybody that doesn't have a force connection or doesn't use the force properly.
kind of like Mando using the dark saber. And there's
Yeah,
also
he,
I think
he
that
just got ripped. So
I think
he
the
could just swing it.
That is kind of cool.
That
The
is
fact that
cool.
he's just like, I will swing this around
He's like,
until I can do something.
I think
with
the
it.
dark saber is an extra special lightsaber too because it's like incredibly. It's
Yeah.
got like thousands of years of history of the most noble
I just
warriors.
like-
It's like Din Djarin, what the frick are you doing with
I
it?
just like how it's basically just that RPG thing. I don't have enough strength for this. It's gonna give me a debuff. What the heck?
Yeah, all the other Jedi one-handing their lightsabers, and Din Djarin's just dark souling it, switched to two
He
hands.
was swinging it like he's playing Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Too much, not enough strength. Just
So, how do you guys think the show's gonna go? Mediocre?
Considering we haven't
lame?
talked about it yet, I think
I
it's.
think it's gonna be pretty good.
Eh.
I don't know. The fact is, I've lost hope in the Disney TV shows, all of them, the Marvel ones, the Star Wars ones.
I just on top of the weebs, I just heard a bunch of Disney fanatics just shriek.
They can go open their Lorcana card packs and go cry in the corner. I don't care.
I feel like
Boom just is like,
they've
you
been-
play Mickey, I play Yawgmoth.
I feel like they've been rushing it too much because I don't mind the stories they've been telling, like in Mando and stuff. It's kind of cool, but the way they've been telling them felt awkward. Like it just,
I don't mind.
it didn't feel like it meshed together. Like the idea of Din Djarin becoming part of like a bigger Mandalorian thing, and they retake their homeland
Well,
and
that's
whatever.
what I hate.
Like,
Is I feel like
that makes sense. It's kind of a cool idea, and then when it happens, you're kind of like, huh.
That's been a problem with most movies and shows, just with everything anymore. Like it just feels awkward.
well, and I know
Yeah.
it's totally different studios, totally different creators, but Secret Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was great the first couple episodes. Like, it was cool. It was like a spy thriller. Like, who's a Skrull, who's not a Skrull. And then at the end of it, it's just like every other Marvel thing. There's a superhero that beats up the bad guy,
Yeah.
and then
In a hurry,
that's
too.
it. In a hurry. It
Yeah,
happens
no
in
epic
20
battle.
minutes.
Yeah.
Like, or not even 20 minutes. Like, 10 minutes. The fight's 10 minutes long. Bad CGI. It's done. But then I also know that we're not going to really have a Secret Invasion season 2.
Yeah.
And like the story that they were trying to focus on these characters just feels like it was rushed, and
See,
that's how I feel like it wasn't like Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett really felt like that. They had a good idea, and then it just like went nowhere.
Yeah.
And they just kind of
They just didn't go anywhere. They had a lot of cool ideas. I like the fact that he was kind of like haunted by his past.
Yeah,
I wish they would have focused on that more, but at the end of it, he just felt like nothing changed. him.
Yeah.
He was
Mhm.
just a guy
yeah,
in Tatooine
Yeah.
doing mob boss things, riding
there
a
was
baby
no
Rancor.
subtlety either. He was just like suddenly a good guy
Yeah,
with no like he was always very direct and like, if I have to shoot somebody and kill them
Well,
to
that's-
get my goal, cool.
because too they did a time skip and they did it badly. They did it
Yeah.
very badly, because his time with like the Tusken Raiders was a
That-
long time.
it
And
would have been
that's
cool
what
if
was
the entire
supposed to
first
change
book
him.
of Boba Fett was just the Tusken
Oh,
Raider arc.
yeah. that would have been
and the mob boss thing
so-
could have been like a second season.
That would
Yeah.
have been so powerful with them getting wiped out, because then it's like,
Yeah,
We've
'cause
oh, man,
watched
this is
10
wild.
episodes
Yeah.
of this.
you get characters that you like.
Yeah, it would have been great. And
that
the only problem is it would have been subtitles. You would have to read a lot of subtitles.
that's true.
And Disney nowadays just doesn't like doing that type of artistic.
Yeah.
change.
Like they do it in Star Wars. You read subtitles a lot, but a lot of the times it's only like an odd character here or there, or like
Yeah.
a scene.
Yeah.
Like this, we'd be talking about subtitles for 10 episodes. Basically.
or just not necessarily talking, and maybe for once the audience gets to use their imagination. But Disney won't allow that.
no,
You,
That's
God
kind of the-
forbid, God forbid, those little gears in your pink gray flesh matter get moving, and you start getting ideas of anything of free imagination. The mouse would not like that. You will be put into the grinder pit of flounder if you do that.
That's what I like so much about Rebels, is there's a ton of buildup
Yeah.
that's really subtle for things that happen later, and just like small character interactions that kind of like tell you more about the relationship. And then there's like cool moments with Zeb and Ezra. Ezra thinks he's gonna go off on like fighting the Inquisitors for a while.
Yeah.
And him and Zeb just like sit next to each other and listen to music for a minute. And it's like a super cool moment where they know they're probably not gonna see each other for a while.
and
it's
that's
like,
kind of what at least Legends Star Wars was like.
yeah.
It felt very much like a Legends moment where it was just two characters existing in this galaxy.
Yeah.
And they're letting a moment pass by them.
I think why Mando season 1 was so liked is because it was slow and methodical, and it's
Yeah.
just like going
It
through
was
his
supposed
day-to-day
to
life.
be a space western.
And then it builds up to like the big threat, and then they get out of that, and then it's the next big threat. But it just feels like it kind of just happens out of nowhere.
it got too.
It's like-
it got too cutesy.
It's
Yeah.
like there's one scene that builds it up, and then they fight the guy, and then there's one scene that builds it up, and then they fight the next guy. And it's
Well,
like,
I even like season 2.
yeah,
I like the fact that they introduce Gideon in season 1, and then season 2 feels like there's a higher stakes.
yeah,
It feels like they're actually got a goal, and like the Mando is like being tossed into like this conflict
Yeah.
that he doesn't necessarily want to be a part of, but like he has reasons to
Mhm.
actually go and do this.
Yeah.
The main thing I hate about season 2 is the ending. I thought the ending was terrible.
Oh,
Like
the
Luke
Luke Skywalker
just shows up out of nowhere for no reason.
And that felt honestly like that's one reason I don't really like season 3.
Because they won't get rid of old characters and like have
Right.
anything new.
It's
Yeah.
like, why the heck? First of all, Book of Boba Fett turned into Mando season 3
2.5.
like 0
Yeah.
for like
That
the
was
last couple
really
episodes.
dumb.
And then season 3, you just have random episodes. It feels like, and yeah, Grogu's there. They have random episodes of Anakin, or not Anakin, Luke and Ahsoka and stuff, and it's just like
season 3? I don't think they were.
No,
it's
that,
season 3, right?
that was
That was just Boba Fett, I think. I think Luke was only in Boba Fett.
yeah.
Holy crap! Never mind. I just realized. Wow,
Yeah,
I was totally wrong.
those-
I just hated Boba,
Boba
Fett.
Fett, yes.
Boba Fett wasn't Boba Fett.
those should have been the beginning of season 3 for Mandalorian.
So what
Yeah.
to show you where he went before
there's
he
a
came back to
rumor, I don't know if it's true, but there's a rumor that the executives forced them to throw Baby Yoda back into the story. And so they had to like
I
rewrite
could see
it
that.
You know
and
what?
shove it back in.
Merchandise.
And that
And
would've-
Dave and John Favreau almost quit the project because it was like,
You know,
this is stupid.
That would have been perfect for Mandalorian if season 1 would have been Baby Yoda to change a cold character, and now you see that carrying over into his future endeavors.
Yeah. So
And
season
it would have been cool if like season 6 or something of Mandalorian, maybe Baby Yoda comes back as like
Yeah.
a wise Jedi.
what if Baby Yoda trains for a while, like a really long
And
time?
then
We
they
see
team
a
up.
whole
We
season
keep
or
on calling
two.
it Baby Yoda. We should
Yeah,
say
Grogu. They like a whole season or two goes by without him, and then he comes back in some moment to save him, and at that point he rejects the Jedi and wants to come back to him.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
like-
you have a team up.
Like he thought about it for a while and decided he didn't want to devote his life to the Jedi. And then it's more interesting. There's a bigger payoff, and then you're like, wow, everything that happened in the first season, 2 seasons really mattered to him, and he
Okay,
changed and
So,
whatever.
question, since we're actually talking about Ahsoka, how long before it turns into Mando season 4?
Ahsoka is Rebel season 5.
Yeah, well, if
It
it, turns
already
into
is.
Mando season 4.
It's not going to because it takes place at the same time of Mando season 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is kind of the problem. It's weird because now you're gonna have all these Rebels characters. I don't want to say they're gonna shoehorn them in, but from the trailer I watched, they feel kind of shoehorned in.
Yeah, instead
This
of
is
just
like
Ahsoka,
this is classic Dave Filoni. If you watch season 2 of Rebels, it's just like I want to bring in all the Clone Wars characters.
Yeah.
back.
So and I like Dave Filoni's like storytelling and usually the way he does things, but this show I just have
and
I don't know how much is Dave Filoni and I don't know how much is Disney
I
and like Lucasfilms being like, you need Sabine.
this
and you
seems
need,
very Dave Filoni-ish, so I feel like it's mostly just him wanting to do this.
I guess.
I think what's happening is Ahsoka needs Sabine's help with something, and so
It-
she's gonna go to Sabine, and then Sabine's gonna lead them to the rest of the crew.
it's that Rick and
at some
Morty
point.
thing. I'm gonna need a crew. Hey, you son of a!
Yeah.
Last we saw Sabine, she was looking for Ezra. So I think they're like Thrawn is out there somewhere that they know of. So Ezra must be there too, and so they need. So she's gonna find Sabine
unless
to
Thrawn
help,
killed Ezra.
which is totally possible. Which would be kind of sick.
I would like that.
That
I would
would
like
be-
that if okay, wild Star Wars nerd fan theory for a second. Ezra gets killed by Thrawn. Thrawn comes back. Sabine finds out, and then she goes to the dark side. And then
That would be
because
kinda sick.
Sabine's kind of Ahsoka's apprentice,
Yeah.
Ahsoka not only had to find out that her master became a Sith, but then also her apprentice became a Sith.
If a Sabine went dark side, that'd be so sick.
That would be
I'd be down
amazing.
for dark
I
side
would
Sabine.
love that. And there's
She-
dark Jedi and stuff too. So dark Jedi aren't all about just like murdering
Yeah.
Jedi. Some they're gonna probably
She
like,
could,
try to influence
she
them.
could be like heavy Mandalorian, like murder,
Yeah.
Thrawn kind of vibe.
yeah, exactly. Like
she would just
you
blow
killed
everything
my
up.
family.
Yeah,
I'm a Mandalorian. I need to avenge my family.
that'd be kind of cool. Probably
Like-
not gonna happen, but that does sound pretty.
Or-
It sounds too dark
It
for
does,
Star Wars,
yeah.
but I would love that.
I also feel
or
like-
Thrawn killed Ezra and is just using it to bait Sabine to kill her.
I also feel like
Yeah,
it could,
true.
It could be that Ezra isn't dead, but like something else happens to him. Like maybe he had to team up with Thrawn at a certain point. Maybe they
There's a bigger threat.
maybe they pushed
Very, very, very,
other-
very wild theory. We don't know what happens in hyperspace, right?
Yeah.
Not all. We don't know everything that can happen in
Yeah.
hyperspace. They travel through hyperspace. So the Dark Jedi, the old guy,
Yeah.
that's Ezra.
That would be insane.
That's old Ezra.
They
He was like
already-
hyper age.
They already really did the like whole portal world between world thing.
Yeah.
You could just be like, I saw me. And what if he kills himself as his own age because he's like, oh no, I will become that.
Young Ezra comes back and kills Dark Jedi Ezra.
Maybe Ezra just kills himself and then thinking that the older version will die, but the older version doesn't die because that's not how it works. It's
That
not like
would
time
be
travel.
sick.
And then that would be super lame on for Ezra to do, but it would be funny. Thrawn's just like, I don't know, he just stabbed himself. I was like, what the frick?
Thrawn's just like, I'm out of here. Just takes the starship back.
I have one complaint when it comes to the shows, though.
Yeah.
It feels like they keep throwing giant threat without any thought of what they've done with the
So-
movies for the time frame afterwards.
Well, and that's kind of the weird thing with Star Wars is it feels like a giant threat.
And it's
But
just
it's
literally
not-
a little blip in the
It's
galaxy.
just
Yeah.
a blip in the galaxy. Like giant threat. Like even technically, the First Order in
It's just in a corner, isn't it?
kind of.
The First Order
Yeah.
is meant to be a big threat, but I like to think of it as this like 3-month skirmish.
Yeah, that's kind of
happened.
how it feels like. It's just a 3-month skirmish.
Yeah.
Like
That's the only thing, like with the shows. It seems like they're like Gideon. I know he was just a warlord, but it's like they were gearing him up to be like, oh crap, he's gonna amass an army again.
Which is
And
what
then-
they're trying to do, but he's still not like a major threat. Like if he amassed an army and went to the New Republic, they're just like,
yeah,
they've got ships.
Although I
and
do
stuff.
gotta say for Gideon, I feel like they kind of did him wrong how they killed him off.
Yeah, his
He got squished by a Star Destroyer.
the ending fight was a little. I barely remember. It was kind of mediocre.
Tag
I need to
team Star
rewatch
Destroyer
Season
drop.
3. I remember it being fine, but not loving it.
Anywho, but
usually
you know,
like
here's a
things
fun
more the
fact I
second
never
time.
told you guys. I
What?
never finished season 3.
oh, yeah,
Oof! I was hoping
I need-
Gideon would come back.
no,
Yeah.
I did too because I loved him
No.
as a villain. He's a good villain.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
there's nothing
pretty
to
dead.
say that he isn't technically alive because of the fact he did have kind of a super suit.
Yeah, you didn't see him get shot and die.
Did you
Like,
see his body?
No.
No,
He's
he,
not dead.
he exploded into flames. He looks pretty dead, but he did have a super. He got like a weird Dark
Darth Maul
Trooper armor
Oh,
thing.
sick!
And,
It was
um,
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like half Imperial, half Mando type thing. And,
Kind
Oh,
of
that's cool.
inspired by Darth Maul,
yeah, I don't know.
which was kind of weird.
Well, Darth Maul was Mandalore for like a month.
Darth,
but, you know-
imagine if Darth Maul didn't die in Rebels, he would be all over
I
these
know!
shows.
I was like when they showed live action Darth Maul in the Solo film. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, they're gonna bring Darth Maul back to live action. That's gonna be sick. And then I watched the death of him in Rebels. I'm like, really? Why?
I love that. I like his ending. I like that he still gets defeated by Kenobi. That's like
Yeah.
a cool.
no, like I like the way
Thing,
he does it,
But it is sad that like you can't see any more of him because he's so
Yeah.
interesting.
But- All right, back to this show though. It's like at the big threat thing. It's like it's kind of confusing because it seems like they have two threats with this, like with the Dark Jedi, with Thrawn. But do any of them actually matter in the grand scale?
the weird thing is like it depends on what I think the Dark Jedi are going to be a threat to almost both Imperial and
yeah,
like Ahsoka.
Okay.
Because we see Ahsoka fighting a lot of like non-imperial things, like battle droids that look non-imperial. I think bounty hunters and stuff. So I'm almost wondering if like the
Like
Dark
bounty
Jedi
hunters.
are like trying to capture or like kill Ahsoka,
Oh,
and then the Rebels cast in like Thrawn is like another like sub thing.
part of it.
I just want to
I
see
don't know.
Chopper like kill 300 more
just crash a
Just like
battle
yeah,
station into a moon.
I don't
just
know,
like a dumb episode. He like gets on a random ship and just like
Yeah.
murders the entire
To me,
crew.
like these shows are kind of hard to get into because the threats aren't really like it's hard to get invested in them when you know what's going to be happening like in the movies after. all
Yeah,
of
that was the
this.
odd part because, like, at least in Legends, 90% of the time, the story you were reading was the most recent story.
Yeah.
So, like, you're watching the Yunsan Vong War, and you see like the death, like the solo children and stuff like that, and you're just like, wow, like what's gonna happen now to the future of the Jedi and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you actually didn't know, but now we have canon where we have
Ray will save the day.
yeah.
Right.
I like to
Shows up
think
out of
that
nowhere.
90% of the galaxy is just a wasteland because of all the stuff that happened in these shows. And in the new trilogy, it's literally just like a core system that gets blown up by the First Order.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean. It's like it's hard to get invested in a story when you know
Yeah.
where the ending.
This
road is.
this is easier for me to get invested in because I've watched all of Rebels, so I care about like Sabine and Ezra and stuff.
And it's far
so I'm
enough.
curious what'll happen to those
Yeah,
specific
it's
characters.
far enough away from the new stuff that like a lot can happen in what it's 20-year gap.
Yeah, we're seeing in Mando they're building up stuff for like Snoke and the whole cloning like
Yeah.
thing going on. So there's like some references to that.
So it's a big enough jump, and like these problems are big, but they're not huge.
Yeah.
So
what I'm excited for is they're gonna start going further back into like Old Republic, like not old Republic, but like middle aged
Yeah.
Republic. Like they're gonna do some stuff there with like that.
before the dawn of the Jedi,
That-
but
They're doing that one that's really old, and then they're doing the Acolyte, which is set like High Republic era.
oh
like
yeah,
that-
I forgot they have a new timeline called
That
High
sounds
Republic.
yeah.
But
High
I wanna
Republic.
see Jedi with battery packs.
They'll do that too.
That's a Dawn of
Yeah, it's the
Jedi.
dawn because they
Yeah.
went from swords to
'Cause,
yeah.
battery pack.
They are doing
lightsabers.
one that's like the origin of the Jedi, which who knows what that's gonna be like. That might be bizarre, really suck. I don't know. And then
I don't know. I am a huge Star Wars fan. I'm basically, if you shove Star Wars in front of me, I'll watch it, read it.
except
play
for
it.
the final season of Mandalorian.
Okay,
Honestly, in my opinion, you weren't missing much.
you guys, okay, I saw a clip of the next episode, which was going to be the Jack Black episode. I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
You can skip that.
you
Just
could
skip that.
I know I
episode.
could. And
It
then I know
contributes
this sounds like
nothing.
a BS excuse, but then my big TV died, and I just didn't feel like watching Star Wars on my little monitor. So I just kept on putting it off because my monitor, I have a bookmark right to Crunchyroll,
Mm.
right next to the Disney bookmark. So like when I go to watch something, I'm like anime,
I know it's like do I
not
wanna
Star
watch-
Wars. I know it sounds like BS, but that's the way my mind is. I was just like, I would rather watch anime.
I don't know.
than
It
Star Wars.
honestly, to me, that like episode, I have nothing against the actors or anything. It was just it felt so separated.
Well, and the
It killed the rest of the
It was a
series
very
for me.
The
mediocre
clip I
episode.
watched, I was like, I can't stand this. I just don't. It doesn't look like Star Wars. It doesn't seem like Star
No,
Wars.
if it
Like,
was just a sci-fi show, kind of like the pirate battle.
yeah,
I love the pirate battle like over the city, but the whole time I'm sitting there like, man, I wish this was its own thing that's not Star Wars.
what pirate?
Oh, you didn't get that far.
That's at the very beginning.
yeah.
There's like that one green sludge monster guy who's like, I'm a pirate. And
Yeah.
and they send like the
Man,
generic pirate guys to city.
No,
and he
Oh,
like
now
shoots
see,
them.
Yeah,
to me-
And then later they, like,
that
blow the
would
ship.
be awesome. It's just its own high like sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
and it's like, and that'd be like the style that the show is. The same for the Jack Black episode.
That's
Yeah.
the I
That would have been fit fine with it if it wasn't Star Wars.
Right.
that's kind of the thing that they want to do with Star Wars is make it so big that you can just be anywhere and it can be like in its own.
Yeah,
kinda
but then
thing.
you fall into the old Star Trek thing of it's a big galaxy, so the Dark Age can exist here on 30 planets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. That's why like Legends always focused on the Skywalker family,
Yeah.
or at least like didn't stray too far
Well,
away from stuff like that.
Here's the thing. When you establish a universe in anything, like Star Wars has its tech that sprawls all over the place, even in weird remote corners and stuff. You're
Yeah.
always gonna find similar things.
Mhm.
Star Trek had its thing of, yeah, there's this weird planet that's Earth 1942 because evolution happened the same exact way. But that was that like world. That
Yeah.
was the world building that was established for.
Mhm.
You can't just take something that's like Star Wars where you have established world building and be like, nah, let's just rip this out and just completely go against our own world design.
For the most part, I don't think they have much.
90% of the time, it feels like Star Wars. It's just those moments. And then I saw the moment in the Mandalorian. And I was already kind of like meh on the Mandalorian thing, especially like the cult part. Like, it wasn't the fact that it was just like the Mando cult, but it was just like the fact that storyline just felt like it was going absolutely nowhere.
What storyline?
The Mando cult?
What do you mean? Like them in the cave?
Yeah.
Yeah, it leads to them taking over Mandalore.
Good for them, but it just didn't feel like it was like
Going anywhere.
it didn't feel like it was worth doing. It's just like, cool, they do that.
It is
like
it is a thing where they go on random side missions and then the big like thing happens at the end, but it's like those side missions could have built up more, even
Yeah.
in subtle ways to this, but it just hasn't. It just happens.
no, that's what I felt like. I felt like it was just gonna happen. Like, there wasn't a build up. There wasn't like a moment. Them taking over Mandalore, it didn't feel like they worked to take
Yeah.
over Mandalore.
It
Like, I
doesn't.
knew it was
But
gonna
let's
happen.
focus on this little tiny point on the planet, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does feel like that.
Where
Sti-
like, I don't know, the invasion of Mandalore on Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
That felt like a bigger point.
Yeah.
Because you watch the havoc, you watch like the crime lords come in and do
Mhm.
all this stuff. You watch like then the CIS.
And you also got
Like-
buildup of Mandalore from just random episodes with Satine and her death and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was setting up for Mandalore to be in this state.
Right.
And then this goes down and then it's like, oh no.
hmm
That is the problem where they're just like, we should get everyone together and then go take over Mandalore. And then it's like, next episode, we got everyone together. Let's go take over
Yeah.
Mandalore. Rebels does it really cool where they'll be like in the first season, they steal a TIE fighter in this random goofy episode. And then later they're like, we need a TIE fighter for this. And it's like, oh, remember that TIE fighter we're supposed to crash? We kept it. It's
Yeah.
hiding here. And
It's in an asteroid.
and it's
like-
just like most of that episode was pointless. It was just some goofy like character development episode. But just having those little connections is really cool, and you don't get that as much with the live action.
Right.
No, you get
I-
vague reference to something.
I
and-
feel like or it's just like, I met this person before, therefore this is setting up meeting them again and having this happen.
Yeah.
But it's like, it didn't set anything up. You just saw the character again. It just feels really basic. Feels like rushed. Like they could put more effort into writing it and
The
stuff.
shows
but
need to be longer.
They do need to be longer. I think the 8-episode, 30 to 40
Miniseries,
minute
yeah.
thing really hampers it because it's kind of like a short film. Like you just don't feel like there's enough.
You know-
Right.
You didn't
You know
get
what
the
they
whole
need to
thing.
bring back? The 10-episode, 4-hour long miniseries.
Or
Yeah.
like
Like
that's where
Andor,
these would
everyone honestly do really good if they were just movie length long, but their episodes still a bigger
like
picture.
Mando has people that are like they like it, or people that are kind of meh on it. And Andor is pretty much universally loved, and it's 12 episodes, and it has individual arcs that
Yeah.
build off of each other. And it's like, it's nothing that, like, that part of it isn't that special. It's a full, longer story that's
Right.
completely told, and it feels connected, and each thing has, like, purpose and builds and
It's
pushes
almost
forward.
like anime was onto something.
I know. It's like, just do longer seasons.
yeah, it's just like production time and stuff like that. And like
Yeah.
return on investment has gotten so big lately. It's insane. Like
Yeah.
even and this is a totally off topic, but just like to sum it up, even like giant YouTubers and stuff are getting in trouble for that.
Mhm.
Like there's a YouTuber I watch, and probably people know of him, like Linus Tech Tips.
Yeah.
he's getting in trouble because like he puts out like 30 some episodes or 30 some videos a week.
Yeah, which is
Like it's like
insane.
multiple episodes a day. He has over 100 employees and like he just keeps on messing up on stuff.
Yeah.
Like they just finally somebody called him out on it and like they're finally like just stopping videos
Yeah.
just to work on that. It's like if a tiny company like that can get so caught up
Mm-hmm.
in the grind, just think about Disney.
Yeah.
If a Disney movie doesn't make $1 billion,
Mm-hmm.
like it's the end of the world for them.
And then there's studios that make like Spider-Verse, and suddenly it's like the biggest thing in the world because they just went, we're gonna make something insane,
Yeah,
and just put it out there.
but nobody believes anymore that if you just work on something,
Mm-hmm.
if you just put your heart and soul into it and want to
Let
actually do
the
this,
artists and writers loose.
yeah. Well, it's like look at I mean, Baldur's Gate isn't really my thing, but like look at Baldur's Gate.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves Baldur's Gate. Why? You can do whatever you want, and everything has something going on in that game.
Yeah.
Whatever decision you make, something happens.
And the gameplay is good.
yeah,
And then there was
gameplay-
developers that were like, don't expect Baldur's Gate out of every game.
exactly. They're
because
like trying to
that's
make
unrealistic."
excuses why Assassin's Creed won't ever be like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Just like why not?
Just make a good game.
Yeah.
There's a really good video by the Act Man on Diablo recently where he was talking about it, and there was this clip from Steve Jobs where he was saying like the companies make the products, and then the people that do the make the most sales are the salespeople.
Yeah.
So the salespeople get promoted to be the running the company, and they don't know how to make good products.
Right.
And eventually they just keep marketing and marketing, and they stop making good products, and then people stop buying the stuff because they're not making good products anymore because nobody knows how to make it.
When your marketing budget is more than the budget to make the video game
Yeah.
or to release a trailer or something for it, it's
Or
crazy.
when you're trying to hit certain metrics and you're trying to like game
When
it.
you have to hire a team to analyze the YouTube algorithm to release your YouTube trailer right at the right time
Mhm.
to get peak audience retention, I think you're trying too hard.
There was a
I
channel.
think that's the point where you've gone too far.
Yeah.
There was a channel that made like analysis videos about just all kinds of like TV shows and movies and stuff. And they were pretty good. And then they got big. And now it's like they have a whole team. And I watched one of their videos, and the person narrating it sounded so bored out of their mind. They were
Right.
like corporate businessman jargon. And then the video was just bland, empty nothingness.
Yeah.
Like there was no point to it. It was just like the most base level ideas ever. And it was like, well, I'm never watching this channel again.
Right. And that's kind of where I get worried. Bring it all back to anime. Hey, we're an anime podcast. I get worried about companies like Mappa and like Studio Trigger and stuff that release a lot of stuff, and each one has to be a hit, or it doesn't have to be a hit, but is becoming a hit, especially if Mappa.
Yeah.
Just focus on Mappa. I get worried what's going to happen to the anime industry when that money starts rolling in. I know
Yeah.
Japanese culture is a lot different, but I mean, you have black companies in Japan that's just
Yeah.
nothing but profit, and like
I think the difference in why anime is generally so much more unique and interesting and has better stories a lot of the time is because they're based off of manga or light novels, which is only written by one person.
Yeah, and a lot of those authors guard that things like their personal
Yeah.
treasure.
that is true.
And
I,
then they just like give it to the publishers, the publishers try it out, and then the people that read it are like, wow, this is so good and unique, and then it gets popular.
yeah,
Instead of, we have to spend $100 million on this, so we better not make anything too risky.
right. Well, and that's kind of where I get worried. Where like, I love most of these shows, but shows say it's not really anime, but take like the League of Legends show that came out,
Mhm.
Jinx,
Yeah.
and then take like Cyberpunk Edgewalkers. Both of those are like original stories, and they did super well. They're made by smaller studios. Like Studio Trigger is a big studio, but like it's worrying kind of to me sometimes to see like, I don't know. I just don't want to see this one industry that seems to be doing fairly well go towards the Disney route,
Yeah.
Like, it scares me. Like, I don't think it is. I'm not saying
I think
it
the
is.
difference will be is they also all have to be super competitive with each other,
True.
and they have to garner the attention from authors, from artists. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm pretty sure, like Junji with like his anime that's coming up, if he didn't have absolute say in that, I don't think he would have allowed whatever studio it is to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Especially people like that are rich enough where if they get an offer to make their thing into a series, they can just be like, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that's not a fear I need to worry about then.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
kind of the difference too is like here in the West, we rely on script writers that are under the thumb of the big companies instead of them going to like an author
Yeah.
most of the
Yeah.
time. And then half the time the author doesn't give two craps, so they're just like, do what you want with it.
That is kind of
Also-
why I'm kind of hoping something changes with like this big writers strike.
yeah.
Like, I do agree that writers, they've been limited a lot, especially in these recent years where a company forces them
Mm-hmm.
to just produce so much stuff. They can't be writers. They're basically manufacturer
Yeah.
of words.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting, and it's if you put money, it's kind of like putting a bounty out. If you put like writing is a desirable thing because you get rich and famous,
Yeah.
it's gonna make the best writers want to write the best things more. Like actors are generally, like, you see a Hollywood actor, they're just really good at their job.
Yeah.
And they get paid a ridiculous amount of money, and there's kind of like a correlation there. Anime voice actors, I think, are kind of mediocre, and they don't get paid anything.
Right.
Like, the reason that the really good voice actors don't do anime is because they don't get paid enough to do it. It's not
Right.
worth it.
And usually when
It's
they
basically
do,
the
it's like,
starting job.
Yeah.
yeah. And when they do, it's because they're either passionate by it or something else.
Or yeah, they're either passionate or they just get what they can get, which is
Yeah.
normal for voice actors. But like, if you're a really big, like really good voice actor who's in a lot of cartoons and stuff, you're not going to do anime because it's just not worth your time.
Right.
I don't know. I've heard some voice actors that are just everywhere.
Well, and a lot
There
of
is
them
some.
just like voice acting.
But
So
some of them,
Yeah.
they
yeah.
will do anything because they love getting into characters. and
Well,
stuff
like the guy that voiced Spike from Cowboy Bebop, he's been around for years.
Oh, yeah.
And everything.
And you know, that's kind of a different cast of voice actors compared to like modern voice actors.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's because they just love what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who voices Zeb is awesome. He's really good. He's Zeb in Rebels, and,
Right.
and he's Spike, and he does all kinds of stuff.
Right.
He's in one scene of Trigun.
Is he?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
that's
like a
sick.
random background
That's
character.
cool.
It's like
Well,
one line.
I think the segue broke off the branch that it was sitting on over the cliff, fell into the ocean, and the whale jettisoned it back onto the train track, and we took out the train.
Yep.
Where did the train come from?
There was a train earlier. You didn't see me swerve to dodge it?
Is that why the Segway crashed?
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that's all. I think that's his hint that he wants to go home.
Kind of
Well,
really tired.
Fair enough.
I've been upside down all day.
In the upside down?
No, just upside down.
Just
like
upside
hanging
down.
upside down. My
we did.
stomach.
We did. Okay.
My stomach
notes-
muscles are burning.
For note, we did not hang him from a tree upside down all day. We don't do that here.
No, just my job entailed pulling large objects from a place I couldn't fit at about 6 foot up in the air.
Yeah. Anyways, hope you guys liked this episode. If you did, give us a review on iTunes or a 5-star rating on Spotify. There's other places you can rate us. So wherever you are at, I know my brother uses this Podcast Addict app.
Yeah.
I guess it's pretty sick. You can do reviews and stuff. So go ahead, do that if you listen on there.
And if you made it this far, type pickle in the comments. Just to
You
show
know what?
that you
Even
made
on
it this far.
Spotify, I hate Spotify things. They give you how did you like this episode thing that you can put down and people can comment on it. But you know what? People can't read those comments unless I pin them.
What?
Really?
Yeah, the creator has to pin the comment, and then you can see you can't interact with the comment.
That's so bizarre.
But if you all put pickle in that spot, you can either just write it out or do the emoji. I don't know if you can do emoji. I will pin every single one.
Yeah.
Let's
just-
go.
That way we know you made it this far. It stands out enough that Boom will notice it.
Yep. I like pickles. Anyways, besides for that, also on YouTube, subscribe, leave a comment, like, share, whatever you want to do. it's YouTube. You guys are all a bunch of barbarians, anyways. At least the chats I've seen. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you all later.
Jam meow.
Bye.